This is Tia, a girl from a poor family who lives with her mother. Because of their poverty, she decides to leave school so she can help her mother financially. She starts working by delivering milk. After that, we meet the male lead, whose name is Chilo. He is a calm person with very distinctive features, and he loves studying astronomy. One day, while sitting in a cafe, Chilo notices a young man forcing a girl to sit with him. Chilo steps in, beats the guy up, and throws him out the cafe window. On the other side, we see Tia riding her bicycle while selling milk, but suddenly she crashes into the same guy Chilo had beaten up, causing all her milk bottles to fall. When she sees Chilo, she realizes he was the reason for the chaos. So while arguing, she accidentally steps on one of the milk bottles and falls onto Chilo. During the fall, her necklace gets caught in Chilo's bag, and he unintentionally leans close to her. Suddenly, Chilo's friend arrives and misunderstands the situation. He apologizes to Tia and gives her money. Then he and Chilo leave in their private car. At that moment, Tia realizes she lost her necklace and assumes it fell into Chilo's bag. She follows after them because the necklace was a precious gift from her mother. Later, we see her on a school bus filled with rich students who are heading to a training camp. Suddenly, a gang appears, stops the bus, and forces everyone out. By bad luck, Chilo and his friend arrive at the same time as the gang, so they get captured too. Meanwhile, Tia follows them on her bicycle, but the gang catches her as well. Elsewhere, we see Tia's mother receiving a call from a customer, complaining that the milk delivery was late. Worried about her daughter, she goes out searching for her. Because of her anxiety and stress, she forgets to turn off the clothes iron before leaving. While searching for Tia, she suddenly gets hit by a car and ends up in a serious accident. Her friends quickly take her to the hospital, where her condition becomes critical. At the hospital, her close friends Xionan and Fong stay by her side and try contacting Tia, but they cannot reach her. At that moment, a wealthy woman named Yuan arrives and asks about Tia's mother. She explains that the hospital informed her that Tia's mother had signed an organ donation agreement after her death. We then return to the gang and discover they are actually fake kidnappers. They are teachers from the school, and everything was just part of a training camp exercise. Afterward, Fong finally contacts Tia and tells her that her mother is in the hospital and that she must come quickly. At the same time, Chilo receives a call informing him that they found an organ donor. Both of them rush to the hospital. We then see Chilo's mother visiting Tia's mother. Before dying, Tia's mother asks her for one final favor: to help raise her daughter until she graduates from university. Shortly afterward, she passes away. At that moment, Tia arrives at the hospital and learns about her mother's death. She breaks down in tears, then discovers that her mother had donated her kidney to Chilo's father. Furious, she hits Chilo's son and tells him, "Because of you, I couldn't see my mother one last time." When her mother's body is brought out of the operating room, Tia hugs her tightly and cries bitterly. Afterward, Tia returns to her neighborhood with her friends, but when she reaches home, she discovers that the house burned down because of the iron left on. The landlady demands compensation for the damages and doesn't care about Tia's grief at all. Suddenly, Yuan arrives and says she will pay for all the damages. She takes Tia home with her and treats her as if she were her own daughter. That night, Chilo tells Tia that he understands her pain over losing her mother, but he does not want her staying in their house. He offers her money in exchange for leaving. However, Tia tells him that she only came to fulfill her mother's final wish and that she will leave as soon as possible. She also says she hates depending on others and does not want anything from him. Later that night, she sneaks into his room, retrieves her necklace from him, and leaves. The next morning, Tia comes downstairs wearing a beautiful dress, and Chilo is completely stunned by her beauty. She sits with them at the dining table and eats together with the family. Then Chilo's mother tells her that she will enroll her in a prestigious school called CD Land, a school attended only by rich students. Yuan plans to register her under their family name. Chilo refuses and tells his mother that this could damage the family's reputation, but his mother replies that she will enroll Tia as his wife at the school. Chilo strongly objects, but his mother threatens him, saying she heard he ordered a telescope from abroad and that she will cancel the order if he disobeys her. After being threatened, Chilo finally agrees. Later, Tia rides with him in the same car to school. On the way, Chilo warns her not to act like she knows him. He tells her to treat him respectfully in public, greet him properly, and refer to him as Mr. Hain. When they finally arrive at the school gates, the story begins to heat up. He starts bullying her and tells the students, "She's my maid." But Tia does not care about his words. Instead, she feels happy because she finally achieved both her dream and her mother's dream by entering the school they had once attended themselves. At that moment, she is surprised to discover that her friend Shionan transferred to the same school to be with her. Tia happily thanks her friend, and once they enter the school, they witness the cruel discrimination between the upper-class students and the poorer students. The biggest bully among them is a student named Kokon. Later, while sitting in class, Tia feels discouraged on her very first day. She tells her friend, "Everything we've seen so far is just a drop in the ocean compared to the way Chilo treats me and bullies me." She also mentions that he once expelled a girl simply because she confessed her love to him. During class, a student named Rang enters with bruises on his face. The teacher asks him who hit him, but he is too scared to answer. Tia knows that Kokon was the one responsible, so she stands up to tell the truth. However, her friend pulls on her clothes to stop her, warning her that speaking out would put her in danger. While pulling her back, Tia's skirt accidentally tears. After class, we see Tia sewing her skirt herself. The students start laughing at her because the stitching looks funny and out of place in such a prestigious school filled with rich students. At that moment, Tia notices the same girl who confessed to Chilo begging him to let her return to school and apologizing to him. Tia becomes annoyed because she sees how arrogant and conceited he is. Chilo then treats Tia like a servant and orders her to bring a crate of Coca-Cola to the classroom. In response, she throws the Coca-Cola box straight at him. Furious, Chilo spreads a rumor throughout the school, claiming that Tia only attends the school because she is pregnant with his child. The rumor quickly reaches Shinwi, a girl who is obsessively in love with Chilo. We then see Shinwi approaching Tia in front of the entire class. She tells her, "I know the story about you being pregnant with Chilo's child is just a lie," then reminds her that she is just a milk seller. Shinwi humiliates her in front of everyone and advises her to focus on her studies instead of chasing impossible dreams before walking away. However, Tia refuses to let the insults affect her. Later, while eating lunch, some students join her because they want to become friends with her. They begin offering her their food, which is mostly seafood. Even though Tia is allergic to seafood, she forces herself to eat with them because she does not want to embarrass them. Soon after, the allergic reaction becomes obvious during class. Her teacher asks her to participate and questions her about whether a vase is real or fake. But because of her condition and nervousness, she accidentally drops the vase and breaks it. The teacher becomes extremely upset with her. At that moment, Ling notices Tia in class. Meanwhile, Tia's friend has a crush on Ling and invites him out to eat, and he agrees. Later, they all go together to a restaurant, where they also invite Fong. When he arrives, he has a wound on his head. Tia asks him what happened, but he refuses to answer. Soon, Fong gets introduced to Tia's friends, and they all spend a fun time together. In another scene, Chilo's mother becomes worried because Tia is late returning home. She asks her son to go look for her, but he refuses. So she threatens him again with the telescope and says she will donate it to an orphanage if he does not obey. Left with no choice, Kilo finally agrees to search for Tia. He calls Ling and learns that Ling is with Tia, then asks him for their location. Meanwhile, a group of young men approaches Fong demanding their money back. They threaten him and say, "None of the people with you are leaving tonight unless you pay us." Tia steps in and tries to talk to them, but one of the men mocks her and asks if she is trying to protect her friend. Then he raises his hand toward her. Before he can hit her, Fong punches him and pushes him away, leading to a huge fight between both sides. Suddenly, one of the gang members tries to strike Tia on the head, but Chilo arrives just in time and stops him. While protecting her, Chilo gets injured in his hand. Afterward, he takes Tia away from the scene and tells the girls with them to leave immediately. Then, a huge group of men appears and surrounds them. Hilo realizes they are badly outnumbered, so escaping becomes their only option. After they return home, Tia treats the wound on Chilo's hand. He tells her, "If you keep living here, I don't know what might happen. The problems could just get worse." She replies, "I'll leave as soon as I find a suitable place to stay." The next day, Tia is standing outside the university gates when Ling sees her. and asks why she is waiting there. She explains that she is waiting for Xionan because she wants help finding a place to live. Ling tells her that he will help her search for a house after classes end. Once classes are over, he takes her to his grandmother's house and explains that his grandmother used to teach at their school and worked in fashion design. He tells her the house is close to the school and very convenient. When he learns that Tia is also passionate about fashion, he encourages her to use any of his grandmother's belongings if she ever needs them. Tia then asks him, "What can I do to thank you?" And in return, he asks her to go on a date with him so they could spend some quality time together. Meanwhile, we see Tia going to say goodbye to Chilo's mother. Yuan becomes sad and refuses to let her leave the house. She tells Tia, "My husband is still receiving treatment in England, and he hasn't seen you yet. I want you to stay until he returns so he can thank you personally." The next day, Young arrives to take Tia out on their date, but she discovers that Chilo also wants to join them. The three of them spend the entire day together, having fun and watching the sky. During that time, Chilo keeps talking about the stars and astronomy while staring at the sky. Tia gets annoyed and tells him, "Can you please stay quiet and stop ruining the moment?" While talking to her, Chilo starts imagining her as the same girl he used to love in the past. Later, we see students suddenly running out of the classroom in fear. When Tia enters, she finds a knife and blood on her chair. She soon realizes the blood is fake and that someone is trying to threaten her, but she refuses to be intimidated. Afterward, the students participate in an agricultural activity at school. Kokan, the school bully, starts harassing Rang again. Tia becomes angry and tries to hit him to defend her friend. Kokan mocks her and says, "Do you really think a maid like you can control this class? You're nothing but the Han family's dog." Tia becomes furious and tells Rang to hit him, but Rang is too scared to move, so Tia punches Kokan herself. At that moment, the school principal arrives and demands that she apologize, but Tia refuses and says, "I did nothing wrong, and I will never apologize." As punishment, the principal orders her to plant all the vegetables in the field by herself before sunset, or else she will be expelled from the school. Out of stubbornness, Tia continues working alone while the other students only stand there watching her. Later, Kilo approaches her and says, "If you beg me, I can help you." But Tia stubbornly refuses again. Eventually, she collapses from exhaustion and faints. They rush her to the hospital, and after receiving treatment, she recovers. When she returns to class, she finds all her books torn apart and thrown on the floor. None of the students speak to her or even go near her, not even Rang, the same boy she protected. Rang secretly writes her a note saying, "Please forgive me. I can't cause problems with Kokan's family. Kokan was the one who destroyed your books." Then Xionan enters the classroom, throws away the damaged books, shares her own books with Tia, stays by her side, and tries to cheer her up. Later, Tia goes to ask her teacher about the vase she broke and asks how much it costs, so she can repay him. But Chilo tells her the vase was fake and that she does not need to pay anything. Hearing that makes her very happy. Afterward, she visits her teacher's art studio and becomes amazed by his beautiful paintings. She also brings him a vase identical to the one she had broken earlier. Tia then suggests, "Why don't you hold your own art exhibition?" But the teacher sadly tells her that he does not have enough money to organize one. Before she leaves, he gives her one of his paintings, which she absolutely loves. Later, while walking through the school, a vase suddenly falls from the top of the building toward her. At the very last second, Young rushes in and saves her, then takes her safely home. Afterward, Yuan becomes extremely worried about Tia and suggests assigning bodyguards to protect her. But Chilo tells her, "Don't hire guards. I'll protect her myself, but only if you stop threatening me with my telescope." His mother agrees. We then see Chilo staying beside Tia everywhere at school, all to protect her and make everyone understand that she is close to him and his family. Soon, Kilo starts getting jealous. One day, he overhears Tia talking with her friend. Suddenly, he grabs her hand and announces in front of everyone, "This girl belongs to me. All the rumors about us are true, and I won't allow anyone to hurt her." Tia immediately slaps him in front of everyone, but he grabs her hand and kisses it. Tia storms off, but while leaving, she is confronted by Shinwi, the same girl Chilo expelled from school. Shinwi is holding a knife and threatening her. She angrily says, "I got expelled because of you, and today I'm going to ruin your face." Tia tries explaining that there is nothing between her and Chilo, and we finally learn that Shinwi was actually behind all the incidents targeting Tia. At that moment, Chilo appears, but Shinwi accidentally stabs him with the knife without realizing it. Terrified, Shinwi starts crying and says, "Everything happening is because of Tia. Everyone who gets close to her ends up getting hurt." Then she reveals a shocking truth. The vase Tia broke was actually real, and Chilo lied to her because he knew she was poor and could never afford to pay for it. She explains that the teacher had been saving money to open his own exhibition, but instead, he used all his savings to pay for the broken vase. Because of that, his entire life was ruined. Kilo tries to talk to her, but at that moment, Young arrives and tells him, "Leave her to me and go to the hospital." Then, he takes the knife away. Later, we see Young comforting Shinwi. She confesses her love to him, and he hugs her, promising to help her. He also admits that he has loved her for 10 years. However, Shinwi tells him, "I love Chilo. I can't stand seeing him with another girl. I have to make him come back to me." From that moment, Young begins to secretly hate Chilo and starts thinking about taking revenge on him. Meanwhile, Tia goes to meet Fong and asks him to help her find a job. And the next day, he arrives at her school. Fong takes Tia to a job, and we discover that she will be working at a car wash. She becomes extremely happy and puts all her effort into the work. When she finishes and returns home late at night, Chilo is pretending to be asleep. But as soon as she enters, he sits up and lies to her, saying, "I was reading and accidentally fell asleep." Then Yuan wakes up and tells Tia, "I was waiting for you, but Chilo said he would stay awake for you, so I went to sleep. I hope you're okay." Tia apologizes and tells her, "Next time, if I'm late, I'll call you." The next day at work, her co-workers become jealous because she earned more money than them, so they bully her and splash water all over her. At the same time, Chilo and Young find out where she works and go there. Young gives her his jacket, while Chilo confronts her coworkers and starts fighting with them. Tia quickly stops them and tells Young, "I need this job so I can repay the debt for the vase." Young replies, "I'll pay it for you," but Tia refuses. Instead, he offers to help her find another workplace with a kinder environment and tells her that the boss there is a very nice person. He then takes her to work with a doctor from their school named Maria. Maria agrees to hire Tia and asks why she is working so hard. After hearing her story, Maria advises her to help the teacher in another way, instead of simply trying to gather money. Inspired by that advice, Tia goes to the school principal and asks for permission to organize an art exhibition at the school for a famous artist. The principal becomes excited and agrees immediately. After that, we see Tia and her friend preparing for the exhibition and handing out invitation cards, while the other students continue mocking her. Suddenly, Chilo appears and protects her, warning them, "This girl belongs to me, and I won't allow anyone to bother her in any way." Then he leaves. Later, we see the teacher, Yutian, upset after hearing about the exhibition idea. He tells Tia, "I wish you would cancel this idea," and takes the invitation cards away from them. Afterward, Tia meets him at the exhibition hall and apologizes. But when Yutian discovers that she only organized the exhibition to compensate him for the broken vase, he says, "I'm sorry for the way I treated you earlier. I didn't realize you were trying to help me." However, he explains that organizing an exhibition is very difficult and against the school rules. If the principal finds out that he is the famous artist, both of them could get into serious trouble. Tia apologizes again, but Yutian tells her that the mistake was actually his because he was careless with the vase. Even so, Tia stubbornly insists on continuing with the exhibition and tells him, "I'll accept any punishment. I'll be waiting for you at the exhibition." Later, we see everyone preparing for the event. Ling helps her, and eventually all their classmates agree to support her too. Together, they secretly take Yutian's paintings from his studio and fill the tennis court with his artwork, turning it into a beautiful gallery. Then Shinwi approaches Tia and tells her, "I know you lied to the principal. If he discovers that the famous artist is actually teacher Yutian, you'll be expelled." At that moment, Koken arrives and throws the paintings onto the ground. Tia becomes furious and argues with him angrily. But suddenly, the principal arrives. He already knows about the lie and warns her, saying, "You will regret what you've done." He orders everyone to shut down the exhibition immediately. Just then, teacher Yutian arrives and starts defending Tia. The principal scolds him for being too lenient with the students and punishes both Tia and all the classmates who helped her. He declares that each of them must run 50 laps around the field as punishment. Yutian immediately protests and says, "They did nothing wrong. If anyone deserves punishment, it's me." The students stand up for Yutian. Chaos breaks out, and even the school security gets involved. At that moment, Kilo arrives and stops the entire conflict. Because his father owns the largest share in the school, everyone listens to him. Then Chilo challenges Tia and says, "If you really want this exhibition to happen, then you have to beat me in a challenge." She agrees. The challenge is a 30-minute basketball match. Chilo tells her that if she manages to score even one basket, he will consider himself the loser. Even though Tia is terrible at basketball, she accepts because she has no other choice. The game begins, and after 28 minutes, Chilo is already leading with 30 points. Despite that, Tia refuses to give up and keeps trying. In the final minute, Chilo suddenly tells her, "I'm not happy winning like this. I want a real challenge." Then he leaves the court completely open for her and says, "If you can score during this last minute, you win." Tia gathers all her strength and throws the ball. And finally, the ball goes into the basket. The entire class erupts into cheers and applause. Hilo smiles and admits defeat, then tells the principal to allow them to hold the exhibition. Afterward, he leaves the scene. However, the principal still tells Tia, "Even though you won, I still won't approve the exhibition because it breaks the school rules." At that moment, Yuen arrives and begins speaking with the principal, asking why he is refusing. The principal explains that the exhibition violates school regulations and that they would need approval from the shareholders first. But Yuan surprises everyone by revealing that she already brought the shareholders with her, and they officially approve the exhibition. The entire group bursts into happiness and celebration. Yuan encourages her friends to buy the paintings displayed at the exhibition, and Tia becomes extremely happy because she managed to make teacher Yutian happy. The next day, however, she discovers that Yutian submitted his resignation because the principal fired him. Later, we see Chilo talking to Yutian. He offers him a check with a large amount of money, but Yutian refuses to take it. Instead, Chilo tells him, "I want to buy this painting from you." Yutian replies, "This painting is very important to me, but in the end, I'll sell it to you because I need the money." Then Chilo tells him, "You can consider this amount compensation for the vase that was broken." Yutian finally accepts the check and says, "I've decided to leave the school so I can give myself a chance to pursue art, explore the world, and achieve my dream." Later, Tia goes to his studio, but she cannot find him there. Instead, he leaves her a letter saying, "I left the school by my own choice, and I promise we will meet again someday." As time passes, Chilo's birthday arrives. He is extremely excited because he wants to see whether Tia truly cares about him or not. Deep down, he is afraid that she might not attend his birthday party. He goes around inviting all the students in the class, including her. When he personally invites Tia, she apologizes and tells him, "I don't think I can attend the party." Chilo replies, "Yuan will be upset if you don't come, and if you're worried about buying a gift, I'll give you money for one." That night, however, we see Tia calling Ling and asking him to take her to his grandmother's house. She brings fabric with her and decides to sew Chilo a shirt as his birthday gift. On the other side, we see Chilo waiting for her at the party. He does not care about the guests or the gifts at all. The only person he cares about is Tia. Finally, Tia arrives, and Chilo becomes incredibly happy. He becomes even happier when he sees the gift she made for him. Meanwhile, Shinwi and her friend start planning a prank against Tia. They suggest playing a game of truth or dare. When it becomes Tia's turn, she chooses dare. The challenge is to kiss one of the boys there. Shinwi tells her, "Kiss Ling." But to prove how bold she is, Tia suddenly kisses Chilo instead. Shinwi is completely shocked, while Yuan becomes overjoyed. Tia confidently tells everyone, "I completed the challenge and proved that I'm brave." Afterward, it becomes Chilo's turn, and he chooses truth. Since Tia is asking the questions, she asks him, "Who is the one person you hate people asking you about? What's their name?" The question immediately upsets Chilo, and he walks away angrily. Ling follows after him and tries to calm him down, saying, "She definitely didn't mean to hurt you. Please forgive her." Meanwhile, Shinwi approaches Tia and says, "You hurt Kilo because you reminded him of someone who left him with deep scars. If you want him to forgive you, then you should sing a certain song for him." Later, we see Tia singing that song for Shiloh, but instead of calming him down, it makes him even angrier. He stops her and demands, "Who told you to sing this song?" Tia answers honestly, "Shinwi told me to sing it." But Shinwi quickly denies it and says, "I would never try to hurt you." She's lying. Suddenly, Chilo grabs Tia by the hand and throws her into the swimming pool. Then, he jumps in and pulls her back out. Tia feels deeply embarrassed and refuses to speak to anyone afterward. Chilo, furious at everyone there, throws all the guests out of the party. Later, we see him remembering his painful past. We learn that he once loved a girl deeply, but one day she decided to travel abroad to continue her studies outside China. Hilo told her, "I'll travel with you." But she refused and said, "I have another reason, and I never want to see you again." Then she asked him to break up with her because she wanted to chase her dream. Still, Kilo told her, "I'll wait for you." But she coldly replied, "Don't wait for me, because I'm never coming back." That heartbreak completely shattered him, and he spent a long time suffering because of her. The next morning, Chilo opens Tia's gift and puts on the shirt she sewed for him, but suddenly, he notices a symbol on it and realizes that the fabric came from funeral clothing. At the same time, we see Tia during sports class. Shinwi's friend tries to hit her, but Tia defends herself and throws the girl to the ground. However, both she and Shinwi fall during the struggle, and it appears as though Shinwi got hurt. At that moment, the teacher enters and punishes Tia by forcing her to run 30 laps around the field. Meanwhile, Chilo arrives at school carrying the shirt with him. He is upset because Tia used funeral fabric to make it, so he starts searching for her around the school alongside Ling. During that time, Tia is still running around the field, while Shinwi sits nearby, mocking and humiliating her. When Chilo arrives and hears Shinwi bullying Tia, he becomes furious. He and Ling run after Tia, trying to stop her from running, but she stubbornly refuses to stop. Chilo becomes extremely worried about her, but eventually Tia collapses from exhaustion and faints immediately. Without hesitation, Chilo carries her in his arms and takes her home. When they arrive, Yuan becomes terrified after seeing Tia's condition, and they quickly carry her to her room. Later, we overhear one of the servants talking, saying that Chilo treats Tia like his fiancé. Ling then learns from the servant that Yuan actually wants Chilo and Tia to become husband and wife in the future. Hearing that leaves Ling shocked and heartbroken because he has already fallen in love with Tia. Afterward, we see Chilo making a phone call. Chilo calls the doctor and asks him to come check on Tia immediately. But at that moment, she wakes up. Chilo sits beside her and says, "I don't want our relationship to keep being this tense anymore. You're not the kind of person I thought you were. I used to believe you were a bad person, and I don't want you to leave this house because my mother loves you very much. She's happy as long as you're living with us." Meanwhile, Yuan is standing outside the door, secretly listening to their conversation. Suddenly, the doctor arrives, and she panics, quickly asking him not to make any noise. But Chilo hears them outside and walks out, causing Yuan to become nervous and embarrassed. Later, we see Chilo sitting alone, thinking deeply about everything that has happened between him and Tia. He remembers that before Ling left earlier, he told him that his grandfather wanted to meet Tia and get to know her better. Ling also mentioned that once his uncle returned, they planned to take Tia away with them. Hearing that makes Chilo silently promise himself that he will never let her leave the house and that she will continue living with them. The next morning, we see the same teacher who hated Tia because of the incident at the summer camp. He accuses her of cheating because she received very high exam scores. He tells her, "You're poor, yet you entered this school with fake grades. This school isn't your level. It's a place for rich people." Tia tries to defend herself and firmly says, "I didn't cheat. I want you to let me retake the exam so I can prove that I truly studied hard." The teacher agrees and gives her another test. However, he becomes shocked because she answers every question correctly except one, and even that answer was solved using a different method. Tia confidently explains her solution, and in the end, she successfully proves that her answer is correct. Her friends become extremely happy for her because she achieves a perfect score. As time passes, Shinwi continues bullying Tia and refuses to leave her alone. Eventually, she challenges Tia to participate in a beauty competition against her. Tia then goes to the school doctor, Maria, and asks for help. She says, "I want you to teach me how to become beautiful and more feminine." Maria agrees to help her, and they begin training together. Later, we see Ling teaching Tia how to walk in high heels. Suddenly, Chilo offers to help her buy clothes for the competition, but Tia refuses and says, Ling is already going shopping with me because we planned it together. She leaves with Ling, while Shinwi secretly follows Chilo around, hoping for attention, but he completely ignores her because all he can think about is Tia. Later, Chilo finally meets up with Tia and her friends, but to make Tia jealous, he intentionally gets close to Shinwi. Meanwhile, the whole group continues shopping together. We also discover that Tia's friend has a crush on Young, while the other three boys all seem to have feelings for Tia. We then learn that Tia often visits the neighborhood where she used to live and writes messages on a wall to a mysterious anonymous person who also replies to her messages. She has unknowingly developed feelings for him. And then we discover the truth. Chilo is actually the anonymous person she has been talking to all this time. In one of her messages, she wrote that she hoped to meet him very soon. Finally, the day of the beauty competition arrives. The competition includes several stages, including a talent performance. Tia performs beautifully, and Chilo watches her proudly. Soon, she reaches the finals, where every contestant must introduce themselves. Shinwi introduces herself first, but secretly plans to humiliate Tia publicly. The moment Tia walks onto the stage to introduce herself, a video suddenly appears on the giant screen. It shows her old days working as a milk seller. Tia freezes in shock and embarrassment, while Chilo becomes furious seeing her humiliated like that. But after a moment, Tia gathers her courage, calms herself down, and stands strong in front of everyone. Then she begins speaking honestly about her life. She says, I used to live with my mother in a very poor neighborhood, in a tiny room. My father left us when I was little. The children always bullied and hit me, but I never told my mother because I didn't want her to worry. She continues, even my mother was bullied sometimes, but she always hid her pain from me. She kept smiling no matter what, and constantly taught me how to stay strong and not care about cruel words, because truly, happy people have pure and strong hearts. Everyone in the audience becomes deeply moved by her speech and by all the pain she experienced in the past. At the end, she says, since then, I stopped caring about other people's opinions of me. That's why I became strong. Afterward, during the final fashion show, Tia searches for her dress, but cannot find it. Her friend eventually discovers it, completely torn apart. We then learn that Shinwi was the one who destroyed it. Tia's friend quickly runs to Chilo and tells him what happened. They immediately rush to the school storage room and find Tia desperately sewing the dress herself. She asks them for more time so she can finish repairing it, then asks Chilo for a favor, to play music on stage before her entrance. Chilo remembers the song she once sang on his birthday and tells her, I'll play the music, and I'll wait for you to come sing that song again. I'll stay by your side and help you. But suddenly, Tia receives a phone call from an unknown person. The caller says, I know information about your father, and I'm waiting for you outside the hall. At that moment, Tia is left completely shocked by the mysterious phone call. Meanwhile, we see Chilo beginning to play music on stage. Suddenly, a girl walks onto the stage wearing Tia's dress and also wearing a mask. Chilo immediately assumes that the girl is Tia, so in front of everyone, he starts confessing his love to her publicly. But then, to his complete shock, the girl removes her mask, and it turns out to be his former lover. At the same time, we see Tia going outside to meet the mysterious person who claimed to know information about her father. However, just as she arrives, a car suddenly pulls up beside her. Someone grabs Tia and drags her into the vehicle, before speeding away under mysterious circumstances. At that moment, we still do not know who kidnapped her, and we also do not know how Kylo will react after discovering that the girl he confessed his love to was not Tia after all. All of these events will be revealed in the upcoming seasons. So if you want the next season, write it in the comments.